I just created a workflow that takes my JSON, like the description, the JSON file of the actual workflow, and it turns it into text, like readable text, that I could then use in an article or in a newsletter post to effectively tell people what my workflows do. So let me run you through it. Actually, first, let me just test it for you. So it gets something from Google Drive and then it downloads the file, works through it, sends that data to OpenAI, and then OpenAI is going to create some content, I guess, which we're going to then create a document, put that content in the document, and then send me a Gmail, like an email, which just came in right now, telling me that there is a new workflow description waiting for me, and it also has the link to the workflow description, which is pretty cool. So why don't we just check out how it actually looks here? Can we do that? Okay, it's giving us the document ID, which is annoying, but we can always just open up our Gmail. Yeah, I need a new computer, a better computer. Like, I can't wait until I'm recording these on a Mac or something good, like something better than what I have right now. And something is telling me that that time is coming soon, very soon, extremely soon. So here is the workflow description, and as you might tell, there's another one. There's another workflow description because I was just testing the system out. Actually, I wasn't even testing the system out. I was just like using it to generate because I wanted to create a workflow description for something, for an article that I was going to write. So here is the document, and if I click here, it's going to open a new tab where the document is going to show up, which is great. Let's go back and actually check out the workflow node by node. So this first node is a Google Drive trigger, and effectively it should trigger anytime we upload a file. So whenever there's a file created in the Google Drive, it's going to just put the item here, and then it's going to just tell us, and then it's going to just run the workflow. So the next node is the download. It's going to take the file ID that the previous node gave it, so it's the previous file that was just uploaded, and it's going to download it into this workflow so that the next node can work with the actual data. So as you can tell, there's like this file, this data file here, and it's telling you file extension JSON, and it's telling you MIME type application slash JSON, which means that it's actually the JSON file that we actually want. You might be wondering what this workflow is for. I might make a post about it, who knows. But this next node is for extracting the file data and then turning it into something we can use. So it takes this data and then it outputs it in a data field, but it actually, the operation we set here is to extract from text file, So what we're doing is we're treating this JSON file as a text file. What anyone else might have done is they treated the JSON as JSON, which as a JSON file, which would have given you like something wrong. I tried that before, and it gave me the wrong kind of output. So I ended up figuring this out, and it worked wonders because everything was just treated like text. So which effectively is what JSON is like, to an extent. It's just text. So yeah, we got this data. We ended up taking all the information inside it and then extracting it as data instead of just running it through some code nodes or some buffers or something like that. So this code is just to extract the most useful information, basically to just output it in terms of nodes, node names, node types, and parameters, and things like that. So it goes through this data, which is now in text, and sorry for that, and it basically turns all of those, it extracts the node names, the node types, and the parameters from that text, and then it outputs that as a JSON of the extracted data. So as you can see, the output here, it's pretty impressive, you know, how it's able to extract these node names. And you might be wondering how it's able to like sort of get everything. Well, that's just because it's how it's defined. So there's this bunch of if statements. So the if JSON content.nodes and array is array JSON content.nodes, and then it does like a whole lot, like that's the if statement, which effectively checks inside each node, and it's able to push the right type of content, so the right type of name, the right type of type, the right type of parameter into the right array that we created over here. So yeah, it's just the power of JavaScript. But yeah, the order here is effectively the 0 is the first node, and then the 10 is the last node. As I said before, you might be wondering what this node does. I could tell you later, or I will just show you when we check out this workflow description document later on. So let's continue running through this. So the next node is the OpenAI call. What we're doing is we're taking this information, or at least the most useful parts of it, and we're telling the model, I have a workflow that includes several nodes that was built in N8N, and I need detailed descriptions for each node. For every node, please provide the following information in the given format. Node number 1, node name, short node, purpose, description, definition, and node that da 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 da, purpose, this node da 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 da, reason for use, this node is useful for da 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 da. And then you use this format to define all the nodes in the workflow. And then we also gave it like a few more rules just to make its output a bit more well defined and a bit readable, so that when we're actually like using it, we don't have to format it too much for our applications. So here is the system prompt. It's basically, you are an expert workflow analyst, and your role is to interpret the provided detailed descriptions of workflow nodes in a coherent and informative manner. And it just goes through all of that, ensure that the responses are accurate, you know, like basic system prompting, just telling it what role to play and how to play it. And then the next one is the assistant prompt. So we basically defining what kind of, so like how we want it to give us the information. So it's the node, and then the node name, the short node, purpose, and description. And then we also give it an example. Yeah, okay, yeah, perfect. And then from then on, it does that, and it outputs that in the content, which is just here is a detailed description for each node in your workflow. This might have been a problem, you know, this context text that it always gives out. It's like that are correct, like sure, here is a whatever of your whatever. This might have been like very annoying to us. Like we could have told it here in the rules, we could have defined it, and do not include any filler text, like here is a detailed description, and it would have just given us exactly what we wanted. But since we're outputting it to a Google Doc that we're going to edit anyway, it's okay for us to like give us that. So this next node is, it creates a Google Doc, and the important thing for us is to just get this ID, and we define the name here. So we named it workflow description for whatever file name that we got. So you might wonder, this variable is from the first, it's from the download the JSON file node, which it gets the original file name of the JSON file that we downloaded. And as you might see here, it outputs the name as workflow description for Substack article hook poster, you know. So very good. And then now that we have an actual like a good name that we could use for the Google Doc, we can just update it with the content that we want. So we are taking this document ID and putting it here, and then here we are doing these actions. So we are updating the text, updating the document with text, and we are inserting in the body, and then we are inserting at the end of a specific location. So this would basically just insert just at the end effectively, or wherever the document ended. So if the document had text in it before, it would have just inserted there. But now, since we just created the document, it has no text, so it will just insert anywhere. So here is the text that we got from the OpenAI output. So we just put it in here as the input, and then it outputs the document ID so that we could use it in the next node, which is the Gmail node, where we send ourselves an email telling us that the document is ready. And here it's going to get a resource, so it's going to be like the message. It's going to send a message to our Gmail account, and what it's going to do here, it's going to so this is the variable that we got. Basically it's our email address, because like our Google Drive is connected to our email address, because like it's all just Google. And then this is, so we put the variable in here just so that we could use it. And then the subject is basically simple, just new workflow description. And then the message is, there's a new workflow description for you to check out. And then it's the URL pointer to the document along with the document ID, because we were only given the document ID, so we have to plant the document ID and create the URL out of it, which, as you saw previously in the email, it worked out like really well. And then this gives us some information that we might use maybe if we're like updating this into a V2, but for now this works like really well, and I'll show you why I say that. So here is the document, and yeah, like as I said before, it's this filler text. Here's the detailed description, but the first node is the schedule trigger, and then it has the description for what the node does. Triggers the workflow based on a defined schedule, and then it has the definition here. So it's a node that activates the workflow at regular intervals defined by the user. The purpose, it's the node helps automate tasks by executing the workflow on a specific schedule, such as every hour, every day. And the reason, it's the node is useful for ensuring that tasks are performed consistently and without manual intervention. As you might understand, this is like very useful information if you're trying to like build an article. So yeah, I might expand on this information, and I might give my own like personal insight and context, which is what I'm actually going to do, or what I actually do. It's like, it's very useful to have this type of information, because if I were to write all of this for like all those 10 nodes, it would have taken me probably an hour, but I did it in only a few seconds. As you saw previously, I generated all this in only a few seconds, and now I'm getting it. And it's just the power of automation. It's like you can save yourselves hours by just doing the bare minimum, which is connecting a few nodes together and creating a few credentials. And it's really powerful. So I'm about to use this in my articles, and if you want to learn more about this, then just check the links in the description, and yeah, I'll probably just talk to you later.